So guys, we're running into some issues, some persimmon issues to be exact. So what's the issue, right? I think persimmons are one of the easiest plants to grow here in my region, in Georgia. They don't get attacked by disease or insects the same way that peaches will get attacked. And peaches, you can lose your whole crop to things that you can't even see. But nonetheless, persimmons is one of those fruits where I would say if I only had to grow one type of fruit tree, or if I only could have one, it would be the persimmon tree in this specific region. It'd probably be different if I lived in like the West Coast where they don't have the same pests that we have here. But nonetheless, persimmons work well here. The problem that we're seeing now is the deer damage. Deer are eating off the little leaves, eating off the new shoots, and of course the new shoots have the new fruit on them. That's how persimmons grow and how they fruit. So we can't have that. So there's not many options I really have because I can't come out here to face the deer every time they're out here because they're usually out at times that I'm not out here. So I could put a fence up right here. So you can see right here, I have 3/4 of a fence right now. Fence, fence, and then no fence right here. So they come up through that area. That's where the deer come up. They just graze on everything they can, and they just basically come across here, eat the tips off everything, and then they leave. Eat the tips off of everything that they want to eat, and then they leave. They've even eaten the tips off the peach tree, but the peach tree is so big it doesn't really matter. I mean, there's fruits everywhere, all up here. Deer can't do anything to this. But these persimmons are not as big. Of course, there's some persimmons all the way up here. They're not going to be able to get to them. But, I mean, they could if they wanted to. If they jumped on their highlands, but they're not going to do that. They just graze the lower limbs. So, like I said, one way is the fence, right? I can get that fence finished up so I can be fully protected, which will probably it'd be less than 2,000, but more than 1,000, which I might do sometime later this year. I'll probably do sometime later this year. But for now, what you can do, other options is you can spray like the deer away. I've seen that work. So it's basically this very stinky spray. It's like deer, rabbit repellent, and it just smells terrible and the deer don't want to eat it. The problem with that is it washes off. Like when it rains, it's not as effective. So when you first put it on, it stick up the whole neighborhood. You can see why a deer wouldn't want to mess with it. But if you don't continue to put any more coats on, it'll have, that was beautiful. But if you don't put any more coats on, if it rains, it kind of washes that smell away. So they just don't start eating it after the rain. Second thing is what I did. So I use Surround WP on my peaches to protect against bugs, pests. But you know what? Deer are also pests. And I looked it up, and it's supposed to be a repellent for deer also. So Surround WP might be the best invention ever created for your fruit trees. Honestly, the only drawback is that you're gonna have this white stuff on your fruit, and you gotta wash your fruit off before you eat it. But that's no big deal. You should be washing your fruit off anyway before you eat it. So this stuff actually sticks great. So what you can do is put the stinky stuff and mix it into the surround, into the water, and spray it on, and then you have 2 layers of protection. They're not gonna want to eat this. If I can rub on this, who wants to eat that? So, and rains will wash it off, but it's just a lot slower to wash it off than what I've seen with the smelly stuff. So yeah, it's not perfect. The deer are always just a problem here. Well, honestly, if I had the fence up, I would have no problems with deer over here. Only problem is there's no fence right there, and that's where they come from. So still, persimmon tree is #1 in my book. Let's just actually look at some of the persimmons that are on here right now. But as usual, you have to be flexible. You got to be willing to react to certain things. And you can see right here, look right here. Look at the ants in there. Obviously, there's some kind of aphid problem, but as you can see, it's on a lot of the new leaves right there. I'm not gonna really worry about addressing that right now because it's not really affecting anything. They're not like on the fruit or anything. They're just on some of the new leaves. So maybe it's something I'll address at another time, but I don't think that's a problem that's gonna be as severe as some of the problems you have with stone fruit. But we'll see. It does look kind of weird. You got to put a couple coatings on of surround. You put, because of the way the leaves work, kind of. You put a coating on, wait like 30 minutes for it to dry, then put another coating on, wait like 30 minutes for it to dry, and then I mean, you can do it how many times you want. I like to do it enough to where I see like a film on top like this, so I know if it eats that, it's gonna be like not happy. Right? It's not going to enjoy that. So that's how I like to do it. So thanks for watching, y'all.